Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ongoing Mastery Presenting and Speaking, the podcast, and the interview. And today we have Erica Holthausen. How are you, honey?
Oh, I am so well, and I am so delighted to be here with you, Kirsten. I love the way your brain
And
works.
Angel is helping.
Yep. Yep. Well, she had
Angel,
time
come
in.
here. Yes. Yes, so everybody, the dog is helping, and that's just the joy of doing a podcast. So, why don't you tell everybody what it is like, what is your special thing? What is it that you do?
So essentially, I help mission-based experts become thought leaders, recognize thought leaders by teaching them. Part of it is teaching you how to think, but it's teaching people how to select a publication, write for publication, and get published in industry trade journals, business magazines, things like Inc. and Harvard Business Review. So that's what I do in a nutshell, which means I can talk about writing forever.
Cool.
Yes.
So I won't go down the rabbit hole of asking you about AI. Okay, that we don't have enough time.
We can touch
to
on certain things,
rabbit
but
hole. but I do want to ask you, what is the biggest hurdle that you see when you first are working with people on writing for stuff?
yeah, the biggest thing is, well, I'm not a writer, or I haven't written for publication before, or and first of all of us are writers. How many emails do you respond to in a day? Like, we all write. It is a skill that can be learned, that you can get better and better at. I don't know how to do it. I don't know it. Am I good enough? Am I original enough? So all of those doubts come in, and from people who are absolutely brilliant and have incredible ideas that need to be shared. So those are some of the big things that get people jammed up. And the truth is, this is one of the things that a lot of people don't know. So I just want to share this quickly. These publications need your content desperately. Publications have always relied very heavily on advertising revenue. When advertising revenue moved online, thank you, internet, all of a sudden they have to, advertising revenue moved online. Now they have to create way more content than they could possibly create to get that advertising revenue if they had to pay all of their staff writers and freelancers to create that content. So they have this huge need that opens an opportunity for experts to write for these publications and get their ideas out into the world to a much broader and very specific audience.
I love it. I love it. I just saw an article that my friend Chloe did for the Harvard Business Review.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my, yes, that's it. Go girl. Yes. Awesome.
And she worked her little
so
butt
happy.
off on that piece. So
oh God, amazing. So, you have three things that you need to build your reputation as a thought leader. What are those three things?
Yeah. So I use the 3 C's: conviction, credibility, and community. So if you are not, if you don't have conviction in your ideas, if you have not really thought through those ideas, then you're not going to have the confidence, and you're not going to be able to state things very clearly and be able to deal with any criticism that comes your way or new information that helps you figure out those ideas and tweak them a little bit more. So conviction is the first one, and writing really does help with that. Chat GPT will not. So we're going to sneak that in a little bit.
Yes. Chat GPT is a research tool, not a writing substitute.
Yeah, because it doesn't substitute. Writing, it's not about the ink, it's about the think. So when you think through something, then you've got that conviction in your ideas and beliefs, and it gives you a whole lot more confidence whether you are writing or whether you are up on stage and talking to a live audience. So the second is that credibility piece. You have to give me the reader or the audience member, why should I believe you? In this world of internet where anybody and everybody has an opinion, and way too many people share opinions that they really don't have any information to back up, you need that credibility piece.
Yeah.
So that's another piece that you need as a thought leader. And then it's community. You know this, Kirsten, because we met in a community of speakers.
Yep.
Like, you
Yes, we
have
did.
to be with other people because they will help. They will support you. They will also call you in when they're like, I think you might have missed the boat on this one. So, and
Yep.
they will just, they're great sounding boards. And, you know, I don't care how brilliant you are if you don't have other people around you who can support that, who can talk through ideas that are kind of a little muddy in your head. That's going to be much harder. And when you have a great community of other folks who are very like-minded, then you get
Yep.
referrals, you get opportunities, you get invited to be on lovely podcasts with brilliant women like Kirsten. So those are the three
I
things.
paid her to say that.
The check's in the mail, right?
Yes, exactly. And when you hear the rustling, it's dog treats because Angel is right here
Oh, hi, Angel.
being helpful today. She's just, yes. So, um actually, so Chloe and you and I all met in Innovation Women. I'm curious, what got you into Innovation Women, which is a speaker visibility group?
Yeah. So a couple of different things. It was actually a friend of mine who called me and said, Erica, you are a lot of things, but a stupid broad is not among them. You will be a stupid broad if
Awesome.
you don't join Bobby Carlton's group. So he had worked with
Ooh,
Bobby Carlton years ago and
okay.
just knew her, respected her, and knew about this
Hmm.
organization. It was like, you have to do this. So part of it was hearing that and not wanting to be a stupid
Hmm.
broad. And part of it
Yes.
was also, I have done a good bit of speaking and facilitation, but it has not been intentional. So I really wanted
Mm.
to take that to the next level and understand more about how do you do this intentionally? How do you get out there and speak more? So I joined Innovation Women.
Awesome. Yes, and as we all say, speakers need speaker friends.
Yeah,
You need people who understand what it is that you're doing and what your goals are.
yeah.
It's just super, super important. So, what? I mean, you're a writer and you're a speaker. Can you talk a little bit about the relationship between those two things?
Yes, and I love the relationship between the two things because I think they build off of each other really, really, really nicely. So I am a writer first, a speaker second. Like, my natural inclination is to go into my little writing cave and never come out. Um, so, but what I love is when I have a speaking engagement, and I just did my first TEDx talk at the beginning of this month, and that was a whole different experience. So it taught me even more about how those two things work well together.
Yes.
So,
Link will be in the show notes. Sorry.
so I tend to write first, and 1,250 words is a 10-minute talk ish. There's wiggle room there, but
Hmm. Yeah.
what I like about it is, so I can write an article first because that helps me get my ideas down and really figure out,
Okay.
okay, what is it that I am trying to communicate, that I am trying to get across? What are the darlings? Because there are always darlings that I need to murder. What does not bring the story forward? How do we
Yes.
need to structure this? So I structure things first as an article, or think of, a longer talk would be, think of a chapter. So I structure it that way first.
Hmm.
And that then helps me pick out the main. I don't write my talks because I will never stick to the script because I'm a nightmare that way. I could never be an actor because they'd be like, girl, you are off script again. I would be the Robin Williams of actors, which would actually be lovely. But
That would be awesome.
exactly. I'm like, wait a minute, that's actually really good. So, but like sticking to a script is not going to happen. But writing it out not only gives me an article, but it also gives me like, okay, what are the core ideas that I'm trying to get across? And then I can create sort of this bulleted thing, and then I can start practicing and figuring out how do I want to do this. So that's how the writing supports the speaking. One of the ways the speaking supports the writing is once you have an audience, you are getting immediate feedback. In writing, I can't get immediate feedback. I have to submit it. It has to be published. Then I get feedback, but it's already like it's done and dusted. So with speaking, I can get feedback. I can see, you can read the energy of the room. You might get questions. Things might show up in chat. You can see other people and watch their facial expressions. And that tells me, oh, this landed, this didn't land. So then I can go back and make the writing stronger. Yeah, I think they're a beautiful pairing.
I never thought about that. I mean, I always know about the feedback, but I never, yeah, I like that because I'm a speaker first, writer second. So I'll perform something and then I'll need to get it down and make it coherent. So I kind of do the opposite, but I love the idea of taking that feedback and then bringing it back to the writing.
Yeah. And that's kind of the nice way. It can be either way. If you are a speaker first, and now you can get transcripts so easily. Like back in the day when I was interviewing people as a freelance writer, like you couldn't get transcripts. Are you kidding me? Now it's so easy. So you can speak your shitty first draft of an article. You got a 10-minute talk? That's a shitty first draft of a 1,000 word article. Perfect. Then you can play with it.
Walking the dog with Otter AI on. On my phone.
100%. Yeah.
It's like, that's it. Awesome. So the thing about, I had tried this because I had tried writing for a magazine in order to get some interviews and be able to do stuff. And of course the magazine was like, no, not interested. The whole process of that has more steps than I realized. So can you talk about how somebody really needs to think in terms of like what they're developing and what that looks like? Because I had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah. So there's a few different questions wrapped up into that. So let me kind of unpack and see which way we want to go. One is the choosing the right publication. So it is so easy to get caught up in like, ooh, Harvard Business Review. That's fancy. I want to write for them. Maybe, but maybe not. Then there's the whole question of how do you structure an article? Then there's the whole question of how do you plan a good article or a talk? How do you make sure that it's that piece of content that you are creating is really strong and is doing the job it is supposed to do? Because everything you create has got to, if your goal is to become a recognized thought leader, make sure that everything you put out drives towards that goal, because it will either drive towards that goal or it will diminish that goal. There is no neutral.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And we get into trouble because we want to be helpful. And so we'll say yes to something because like, oh, this is such a fun person and I want to support them. And yes, this would be great. But it might muddy the waters of what your reputation, the reputation that you are building. So as soon as it, so it will either enhance or diminish your reputation.
Oh, that gives me a wonderful way of turning stuff down. I love that. I love that. I'm going to totally steal that because now I'm like, because I get all these requests for stuff that are just slightly off beam for what I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that's not my thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh,
And
awesome,
then you
awesome,
can
awesome.
find somebody for whom it is their thing. And then suddenly
Mm-hmm.
this opportunity that came your way, which is actually not an opportunity because it's not a good fit for you, becomes a gift that you give to somebody else.
Ooh, wonderful. You've got all the good tips today. Like 2 of them I want to put on a t-shirt. Oh, this is fantastic. So, what when people are thinking about publications, they get stuck on the I need to write for X.
Right.
How do you get them out of that?
It's really looking at, okay, before we even think about which publication to write for, let's think about your business goals and get super specific, not only about your business goals, but also about your audience. Who are you actually trying to reach? Who is your, and not like, here's my list that's actually 10 audiences in one. What is the one audience that you are trying to reach? And what are your business goals for doing this? Because there's so much messaging out there about like, everybody should have a book. I don't agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to write a book, don't write a flippin' book. But it's also why would that be? Like, what is the business goal behind that decision? And
Mm-hmm.
awesome, if you want to write a book and you have a business goal for doing so, and you know how you're going to use that book to reach that goal, like 2 enthusiastic thumbs up, I'm all about it. But if you are writing a book
Mm-hmm.
because you've been told that everybody needs to write a book, or if you are writing articles for publication because you've been told that everybody needs to write articles for publication because it'll make you a thought leader, like, don't bloody do it. Like, think about why and what your real goals are, because those goals set up filters for choosing the right publication. So a simple example there, if one of your goals for writing for publication is to build that community part of the 3 C's of the conviction, credibility, community, if community
Yep.
is part of what you want to do and you want to be able to interview other experts, that's a perfect filter. Entrepreneur will not allow you to do that. Inc. will. So that immediately filters out some publications so you can choose the one that actually is talking to your audience and that will help you reach your goals. And by the way, just because I'm on my little soapbox right now, a high visibility publication, if your people are not reading it, it is not a high visibility publication. If your people do not read Harvard Business Review is not a high visibility publication for you. If, however, they are all members of the Association for Talent Development and they read the blog, that is a high visibility publication. So associations are often ignored, but they can be incredibly powerful places to get published.
Oh, thank you. Yes, that, and that, and going back to the book thing, I'm laughing because just yesterday I got my 40th. Um, I will help you write a book, and it's like, why are you? Why are you pinging me?
Yeah.
It's like, I'll ghost write a book for you. I'm like, the hell you will.
Right.
No, Kelly will kill me if no. I have a producer who's a writer.
I will help her bury the body.
You will help
yeah.
me. Yes, exactly. Remember, buy the wood chipper, don't rent. I'm just saying. Um yeah. So all right, last, unfortunately, oh God, I want to talk to you forever, but the last question I have for you for today's podcast is, in thinking about ongoing mastery
Yeah.
of speaking and presenting and the work that you do, what is one thing that you want to let people know about ongoing mastery?
God, one thing is so hard. So
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to break the rules. First, I
Okay.
love the phrase ongoing mastery because it very specifically says this is a never-ending journey. There is no one and done. There, like, you can always improve. You can learn more. You can, like, always. Second thing, I have a daily writing practice. It's 10 minutes. A lot of people are like, oh my God, you write every day. Like Stephen King writes 6 hours every day. That is not my world. I write 10 minutes. But having a practice for these things, and it doesn't have to be daily, it can be weekly. Finding a practice that really works for you helps with that ongoing mastery. And then the last thing I'll say, which if I really only had one thing I would have started here, is start before you're ready. We never think we are ready. Ever, ever, ever. We never think we're ready. I just have to do this. I have to do this one more thing. I have to get another, right? I have to get another degree. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to get a certification. I have to. Start before you're ready.
I feel attacked. No. Yeah. Okay. Start before you're ready. I resemble that remark. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And treat things like a grand experiment, because that's what life is anyway.
Thank you, phone. Yes. Yes. And so before I ask you where people can find you, I just want people to know that having met Erica, not only is she brilliant, but she's also like a ray of sunshine on legs. It is kind of hard to have a bad day after talking to you. So I just want people to be aware of that.
That is such a lovely, amazing compliment. Thank you.
So where do people find you?
So my website is catchlinecommunications.com, and my, ready for this, one and only social media platform is LinkedIn. So I hang out there quite a bit, and yeah, you can always find me on my website and reach out if you have questions or want to learn more.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. So that's it for this week. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Make some comments, please. Let us know what you think about what is the favorite of the many, many pull quotes that she gave us. What is your favorite? And I'll see you guys next week.